And so I have to say to a few people here, and I won't call you out by name, I won't look at anybody in particular, but everyone's got to stay with me here on this, okay? Everybody stay with me. I am a little sleep deprived, but there is a thread. I promise we're going to get somewhere good. And why? It's Advent. 4 Sundays, 8 less shopping days because of late Thanksgiving, but it's the same number of days in Advent. A season that is supposedly supposed to invite us to prepare for Christmas. So, and whether you know it or not, for most priests in the Episcopal Church at least, it may be our favorite season of the year. Here's why. Christmas before last, I preached to you about what is, in my opinion, the darkest, most pernicious, most disturbing channel available for purchase today in your cable package. This is the root of villainy that strains the language with my ability to describe how awful and terrifying this video presentation is. For extra bonus points, can anybody remember the channel that I am concerned about your souls if you watch?
Hallmark.
It's the Hallmark channel. Now, I thought that a good Christmas Eve sermon would right the wrongs. But alas, the update that I have to tell you, based on extensive market research and me talking to friends, is that it's not gotten better, it's gotten worse. Do you know that I've heard from other people that Hallmark debuts in the first 24 days of the month of December, one new Christmas movie every night for 24 nights running. They call it an evil title, the 24 Days of Christmas. Despicable. And then on top of that, other networks are now trying to mimic this amazingly awful idea. Netflix, because they're losing everything else, have actually begun to mimic the Hallmark Channel, and now they are doing their own version of Christmas, Netflix and Christmas. It's a dark intersection. And so, I mean, who else would put Rob Lowe in Africa and call it romantic? Now, I have to say that Rob Lowe has not aged a day, and I think the people at Disney that designed him did a great job with that. And he's not aged a day, but basically, how can you be romantic with elephants in Africa? Let's put Kristen Thomas in there, and then we'll see how that goes. Netflix doing this, it's disturbing. Or if you're Vanessa Hudgens, the project you want to do for Christmas is to have a knight from the 14th century magically appear in your town, so you can learn the true meaning of Christmas. What more must we endure? And so, as I was doing this market research on your behalf, watching these awful things, I had a waking dream. It's a great Advent dream. Stay with me. So you can imagine, and I hope no one here, I hope I'm the only one that's had to watch this. You can imagine the perfect world that the Hallmark Channel presents for Christmas. The perfect world is in some village / township / unidentified romantic town, with kind of a center part where everybody walks and meets together. The children run and play because they know how to do that. They don't have a cell phone, amazingly. Families are walking and talking and chatting and drinking hot chocolate. The wives are looking up because the husbands are always taller, longingly, improbably thinking positive thoughts about their husbands as they walk together. The husbands are looking down, impossibly, just captivated by the beauty of the women that they're with. And they're all beautiful. HD does nothing. There's not one pore, not one mark on their bodies at all. This is what I've heard from friends. They're not looking on their cell phone. The man is not looking at his stock quote portfolio on his cell phone. No, they have nothing but time. No one works in the Hallmark Channel. They just kind of move from feast to conversation, and there's always some really big drama, like, I haven't seen you since high school, and yet I've loved you for 30 years. Or perhaps, and all the adults, the minute that the love interest appears, Rob Lowe, become emotional infants. It's like a middle school dance. How do these amazingly successful, they're all wealthy, by the way, people, turn into emotional infants? We don't know. It's the Hallmark Channel. And so whether you're in Africa with elephants and Rob Lowe, or whether you're Vanessa Hudgens and you happen to have a knight come in from the 14th century, somehow they find love, because in your perfectly appointed house, with more Christmas decorations than Mountain Star has ever seen, in the village, the perfect township, even the dogs are walking a certain way in the Hallmark Channel. Everything's beautifully appointed. There's mistletoe in the last 3 minutes. This is worse than Perry Mason, if anybody remembers Perry Mason. You know there's going to be mistletoe, and they're going to show the most PG kiss you've ever seen. No one kisses like that in real life, based on what I've heard from friends. And so this world, and evidently it's so popular, I'm so disturbed, we have to warn you about it. And I had this waking vision that in this world, in the final 3 minutes, when everything's right and all that really artificial, emotionally stilted dialogue has been quieted, and everyone's ready for the big kiss before you go to the commercial. They're looking at each other, they're moving in for the kiss, and you hear a voice. This is my play of the Hallmark Channel. Repent! You brood of vipers! Who warned you to flee from the wrath? Wouldn't that be an awesome ending? I'm just saying. And there he comes onto the Hallmark set. It's John the Baptizer. He's got animal skin that he killed with his bare hands, and he tanned with his bare hands, and it looks awful and it smells worse, and he's wearing it kind of on his body, and he's got pockmarks because he's a real guy, and that means real body, and that means HD. You can see every little hole and scratch and wound, because guys love scarring, because it's awesome. And he's snacking on a little locust nest as he comes into the scene. Stuff's dripping off his face, because you're not allowed to do that in a Hallmark commercial in these movies. And in he comes. Now, can you imagine if they really filmed that? He's got a scraggly beard. Not as nice a beard as what I'm sporting. I mean, scraggly beard. And he's pointing at people. And he's saying, who warned you to flee? Don't begin to say to yourself, I'm under contract with Hallmark, because I tell you, God can raise up, I believe this is true, better actors from stones than what you're seeing there. That's the kind of a visual that I'd love to see. Now, you're never going to see that, because the world doesn't get it. You see, we either presented extremes, we're presented Hallmark. It's like a visual opioid that's legal. 24 nights, and it's all different every night, kind of. Or you get other news, where the whole world's falling apart in the next 10 minutes. Breaking news. It's worse than it was the last time we broke your news. And here comes John the Baptist. He's talking to the real people in his scene in the first century. He is shattering their calm existence. And he's trying to give them peace. But it's not like the peace that the world talks about. It's not an absence of conflict. It's not, I'm really working on myself this week, I need some inner peace. It's not that. I'm balancing, I'm out of balance, I need to balance. It's not that. If John the Baptist walked onto that set, can you imagine him walking up to one of the actors and saying, you know, the guilt that you've carried about not forgiving your parents who are now deceased is a guilt that will crush you if you hold it in your heart. He'd walk up to another person over here and say, hey, dude, I've seen you in these scenes, and I can tell you that for most real husbands and real men, sometimes what you need to do is stop looking at every other woman and look at the woman that you're actually married to. Because the other stuff ain't working. He'd walk up to every teenager in that scene and ask the question that we should be asking every teenager in Eagle County right now. Do you see any light in your life? Do you get more than 3 hours of sleep where your stomach isn't knotted with anxiety? This is how John the Baptist would really walk into the set. This is Advent. John says, even now the axe is being laid to the root of the tree. This is not the romantic tree cutting that happens in the Hallmark Channel. The tree is us. The pruning happens here in a very personal way. And he says, if it ain't working for you, God's going to chop that off and burn it. What do you need to get chopped off to get ready for Christmas? How is Jesus going to come and meet you in a way that may never have happened before ever? This Christmas. What needs to stay and what needs to go? And what's the biblical definition of this? Peace. So the Bible uses the word peace 249 times. I've preached that to you for years. It's a very popular word in Scripture. What I didn't know until I actually went under the hood on this is that only 28 times out of that 249 does the Bible talk about God's peace.